Hello and welcome to ZeroCool's HardDrive. This week is our 17th episode. We're going to be covering the Stuntman from 1980. Berg, you got some facts for us?
Yep. Start with a little bit of 1980s pop culture news.
Lay it
Empire
on
Strikes
us.
Back got released May 1980, obviously becoming a huge movie and the best Star Wars. Everybody's
Arguably
opinion.
the best Star Wars.
The best Star Wars.
Oh my god.
Yes, it's a highly opinionated and it's the correct opinion.
If your opinion is anything else, you're wrong, people. Sorry.
The Pac-Man arcade got released in Japan in 1980 before arriving in
Waka
the US,
waka.
which became a huge craze and I'm sure started all the other franchises wanting to release arcade games like
Are
the
they-
Street Fighters and the Ninja Turtles later on.
Didn't they do a movie on that too for the Pac-Man? Or is that the Game Boy
Oh,
one?
I think you're thinking of Pixels. That movie with Adam
No,
Sandler.
not
Like,
that one. Jeepers.
well, I don't
He's
think they
thinking
did
of
a Pac-Man
Pixels.
movie. Like, what would be the plot of a Pac-Man movie? Well, he goes
No.
waka waka and he eats some ghosts.
No, it was like how the code and everything and how they chose whatever. Keep doing the facts.
Oh,
We're arguing about this later.
And the Far Side, if anybody remembers the Far Side from back in the day, Gary Larson's single panel comic strip that always had like basically like kind of like dad joke-esque.
Believe it or not, I think
comics.
it was for my 10th or 11th birthday. Because I just love the Far Side so much, I got a little booklet of like Far Side comics.
Oh yeah, they did that a lot. I have a bunch of Calvin and Hobbes still.
They were
was that-
fantastic. It was just that like dry kind of wordplay humor. I loved it.
Was that also in 1980?
Well, no, this would have been, 94, 95. I mean, I think it was still doing like material in the 90s though.
Yeah, he did it for a
Wow.
while, I think.
Yeah.
All right, getting into the Stuntman from 1980, like Dunkel said. Director Richard Rush. Top billed cast were Peter O'Toole, Steve Railsback, Barbara Hershey, and Charles Bale. The title, actually, Warner Brothers wanted to have the Stuntman for a Burt Reynolds movie that came out as Hooper. They wanted that to be called the Stuntman. Richard Rush won the rights through arbitration because his film was adapted from a novel, so he actually won the title, the title of the Stuntman instead of Burt Reynolds' movie.
So there was an opposing screenplay already written, but then
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
got
I don't
the
think I've
rights
ever
to that
seen
guy.
Hooper, so maybe
Yeah.
it is exactly the same concept. I have no idea.
Right.
Hmm.
Was Burt Reynolds not who he is today at
Or-
this time?
Burt Reynolds was a stuntman in Hooper. I have no idea.
Well, this would have been like Smoking the Bandit era Burt Reynolds. So
Yeah, it would have been pretty high up there. Some other things. The director, Richard Rush, actually suffered 2 heart attacks during the production. Because I guess it was a really long production, and they also had trouble releasing the film, which once we get into it, there's some things where I could see where it was a little bit hard.
I've got a feeling there's probably some cocaine involved too, judging by this movie's plot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm sure there was probably some drugs and stuff like that. But Peter O'Toole was awarded a nomination for Best Actor for an Oscar. Lawrence B. Marcus and Richard Rush also got nominated, one for Best Adapted Screenplay, and Rush received a Best Director nomination, which, once we get into it, I question the Oscars. But we can get into the movie now if we would like to.
I can take us away if nobody minds.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So we kind of get into, well, at first it's just kind of looks like this almost like idyllic little mountain town we scroll into. But right away, there's something that seems a little weird and off about it. And there's like a helicopter flying around. There's no real explanation for it. I kind of like this. There's this little interlude with these 2 linemen that are up on a power pole. And they're like, that thing got pretty low that time. So obviously
and
the townsfolk are confused as to why this thing is here.
Yeah, see, and then this is where this movie is a little bit off for me, because I'm pretty sure the guys on the power pole were in the film that we're going to talk about that they're making.
Yeah, it's the same guys that they run into later.
Yeah, because they run into those same exact people later on. It's
Right.
very hard to like draw the line of what was movie in the beginning and what wasn't movie, because they're like filming in this town and the people of the town are
There's
there.
more reasons than that we'll get into.
Yeah, and there's
This thing's
sometimes it's
hard
the
to follow.
movie and sometimes it's not the movie. It's very, very strange. But yeah, like you said,
Mhm.
they're like throwing rocks at a vulture on these poles. Then you get to have a scene like with the cop car pulls up on a dog that won't move out of the street, which I know that they're like rolling credits and they need like B-roll for credits, but this is a really weird credits
It's
segment.
the sound too. Like it was just
the clap.
It made it feel weird because it was just like this. But they stopped doing the clap, and just when the text would appear on the screen, it was go clap, clap, clap. It's like maybe you should have like stopped the clapping, or
they stopped the animation and they just
did
did the noise. Yeah,
yeah. And then they zoom in on the guy that's playing the pinball machine, just slamming into it. And then
was that a thing? I gotta ask. I know
it was.
younger
Yeah,
than
it
me.
was. It was shaking the pinball machine so the ball.
I don't
would go
remember
where you
hip
wanted
checking
it
the
to.
pinball machine when I was younger.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Then you weren't very good at pinball.
Yeah, because you get extra scores because you bounced off the things while they're up there. Like my grandpa had one in his basement. We used to play it all the time.
So I wasn't a cheater. Played the legitimate way, you guys.
And then you kind of like get into the diner a little bit, and you notice the lady when she was feeding everybody their food, she had a dog in her arm while she was giving them like their eggs and their coffee and everything.
Yeah, and right away the dogs were like mean in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The one wouldn't move out of the way and was like growling at the cop car. Then it was the cop sitting down and he was gonna like pet the chihuahua and it was gonna bite his hand off basically.
Yeah, I was just more concerned that they were letting her serve food with a dog in her arm.
Well, I mean,
it was different back in the 1980s.
It was 1980, man.
Yeah.
They get away with a lot of things back then. So yeah, then a couple other cops rode in. You get it pans over to who we believe is the main character.
Stephen Railsback.
Railsback, who is like full beard, longer hair. A guy notices his army tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's the Marine Corps or Special Forces or something. They don't really say it much.
They don't. They just get into the fact that he was in the service.
Yeah.
And in fact, he was talking to someone, and this is probably later on actually, so let's not skip ahead there. But
yeah. So yeah, he and the guy like says something, and then he's throughout this, we're probably gonna say it, but he's very awkward.
Yes.
The character, like if that was how he was supposed to play that character, that guy should have got an Oscar because he was the most awkward character in a movie I've seen in a very long time. I don't know
if he was a bad actor, he was just given bad screenplay or what. But
towards the end, you kind of realize it. But I was like, I'm wondering if they're just trying to play really hard on like that he's just back from war and he's just mentally lost kind of thing.
Yeah, he's also back from Vietnam. I guess that's kind of important in this.
The main part of Vietnam kind of ended 74 probably 73, 74. So I mean,
do they actually say when this movie took place? I don't even think I wrote that down. I don't know if they actually
I assumed
brought it
1980.
in. Yeah,
I mean it didn't seem like they were trying to allude to any other time or anything.
Yeah,
right. So go ahead.
Yeah, he's playing like he has this like awkward thing where he switches over to playing the pinball machine so he sees all the cops roll up, and then they just start like slowly talking to him while they're just like, "Oh, lucky you, got a free ball," and then they just throw handcuffs on him, and then he gets away from them, and then we get this really weird chase scene out the back of the restaurant.
I did want to make a point though, when the cops cuff him, first of all they cuff him in the front, they don't even tell him that they're arresting him. But the one cop has this smile on his face like they pulled some crazy trick to get him. Like they literally just walked in there, talked to him, and then they slapped handcuffs on. Like, you didn't do anything, smart guy.
I was not like, and I was confused too because I'm like, did they know his identity going in or no?
I think they either knew his identity or they had a sketch, but they didn't ever really show anything. They just walked in and like they were going to arrest this dude. Like,
because I mean, he very much had the impression that they were there to arrest him, but they were just kind of casually. Maybe maybe to your point, that was some sort of trick.
And like the hard part with this movie too is like they spend the whole time keeping it vague on purpose as to why they're arresting him in the first place. So it really adds to like the goofiness of like the initial arrest of just like, we got him, and then the chase scene was goofy. He's like slamming out this back, falls out this screen door, and like you get your version of stormtrooper cops shooting at him, just completely whiffing the entire time, and they stop chasing him. They just stand there
unloading
and shoot.
Guns on him.
Just guns galore. And then he gets kind of down into the woods a little bit, and he runs into those same linemen that you mentioned earlier, and they kind of have a standoff. And they talk about how
the older guy says I used to be a combat Marine
in Korea, and then he's like, so was my dad, and then he screams in his face, and the guy jumps. He's like, oh, and then they just like kind of scuffle a little bit, and
and he gives him this weird double thumb
To the throat?
punch to the throat.
I didn't understand what that was. That
like
was
I was
so
like,
weird.
was that supposed to like? I first I was like, did he just kill him? Like, because you don't really get the
Yeah.
vibe of the movie. Like, is it going to be like more
Uh-uh.
serious? He's going to be running from the cops, maybe killing people, but he just like throw punches him,
The
and then the guy
double
like
jab too.
the guy
just
like
the-
double jab, throat punch.
Yeah, and then so the other guy that was the linesman standing there, he just gets scared. I guess he just climbs right back up the telephone
Yeah, he climbs
pole
back
that
up
he was
the
on.
pole. Doesn't help his buddy whatsoever.
No, he's just like, oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And then so he steals their little utility bag, and then they do a very poor job of this. Like, oh, he found a wire snip or like a
bolt cutter.
bolt cutter right
thing,
in the
yeah.
bag of him trying to cut it, and he definitely didn't get it, but he definitely goes like, oh yeah, I got it. It's like he definitely didn't do that.
Definitely didn't do that. Yeah, and then he ends up on a bridge, and he's trying to like flag someone down to hitchhike, obviously. And this is where like where like the lines of like movie making and stuff. But so the car is very fancy. It's like an old German
Duesenberg.
is what they call it later on. Yep, a Duesenberg, which is like I think it was like a pretty high end vehicle back in the.
I think.
Like,
Yeah,
wanna
if you
say,
want like a
Hitler
mental
drove
image,
one.
it's like a Cruella de Vil's car kind of thing.
I think
Yeah, so
Hitler actually drove one.
I got kind of confused here right away because like the car stops and he's like, "Oh, thanks, buddy, for letting me in." He's like, "Get out of here!" So he like starts kicking him out of the car, and it's like, "What's going on?" And
Yeah, this is where the writing loses me because it's they.
Yeah.
To your point, Dunkel, they're blurring it, but
Yeah.
they're blurring it way too much, and I have a feeling it's not all intentional.
yeah, the line between and then so obviously, so the guy like drives down the road, turns around, comes back, and he looks like he's gonna hit the guy, and I'm sorry, but he just throws like a bolt at the car, and we're supposed to believe that guy swerved off the road because he threw the bolt at the car.
Well, he was supposed. Okay,
So so he was
supposed to go
I
off the
know.
bridge.
Yeah.
This is very okay. Yeah, we can just get into it. So this is a movie. So he goes up the bridge.
Yeah.
For one, there's no way. I get that it's a movie. There's no way that that car sinks that fast. That he doesn't see it once he gets
right.
up. He doesn't see any part of the car as it's sinking,
Mhm.
or that there's like bubbles or anything. Like
Yeah, well, I think because like as they kind of go on, he starts to realize like again he walks onto a movie set is what's happening, and then he kind of like there's a helicopter flying by, there's a guy on a boom kind of flying around and everything. It's just like all these things start showing up. But yeah, very much to your point. Like the idea was like he's supposed to hit the windshield, and he thought that he caused the car accident. This guy drive off the bridge and panics.
Yeah, so after he gets up and then he starts looking for the vehicle, then all of a sudden, I don't know if you caught it. There's like 50 people on the shoreline.
Yeah, that's
So
what
like,
I was saying.
He was
looks
hitchhiking.
around.
He never
and just,
saw
like,
any of these people.
right.
Like, we never, and then like obviously the helicopter with the director comes and they have like a camera and they just kind of look at him.
Yeah, you get this weird like lingering stare from the director in the helicopter, like,
and then nothing really happens.
Looking at this guy.
Like nobody chases them. Nobody says, "Hey, stop!" No one says anything. They just keep going.
I mean, he has a very awkward run.
Does like this weird like
happened.
finger biting thing, staring at him.
Right. And then, I laugh so hard at this. He gets to like a shore town, whatever, and his disguise is to make jorts.
Yeah, yeah, and leave the jean jacket on.
Yeah, so he doesn't do anything else besides cut jorts.
And he loses his shoes. So he loses his shoes.
Yeah,
and then basically he'll make some Debbie or Daisy Dukes.
Not quite Daisy Dukes, but they were pretty fun.
They were dang near Daisy Dukes.
Yeah,
and then that guy would have had
he goes.
I was like, dude, the cops are after you. They think that the description of jeans is the thing that they're coming after.
Oh, we're looking for a guy with jeans.
Hey, but you got jorts on, man. We can't arrest you.
Well, then he goes to the souvenir shop and he just buys his yellow hat and he puts it on. And he's just like, this will be part of my disguise. Like, luckily, he's just like looking in the mirror. He's like, this just looks dumb. And he like gives it away. It's like, what was this? Like, again, it's not a technology error, but like, come on, man. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
I mean,
at
like
least the
a guy
hat would have
your
disguised
build,
him a
your
little
hair,
bit.
your beard with a jean jacket. Like, I mean, there weren't that many people with jean jackets running around that I could tell.
You want to hide from the cops? Change your pants.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely drawing attention to yourself standing on a beach wearing denim like crazy.
Next time I rob a bank, I'm just going to wear some, pull-off pants. Like Magic
So
Mike.
then he goes to where a bunch of people are, he kind of walks around, then he goes to where a bunch of people are watching a beach. and he looks
Mhm.
over, and then he sees a movie. He sees all the people, all the cranes, and all the stuff, and people dressed
Yep.
up. I think it's supposed to be like World War One.
I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
were
think it's
saying it
World
was
War One,
a World
right?
War One film.
And then there's like a plane flying through, firing blanks and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
and then there's a scene where there's like a bunch of explosions happening in front of all this crowd, and once the dust settles, all of the actors are like missing body parts or cut in
bloody,
half or
dismembered. Yeah.
missing their head. And this is where like it was weird that it's like a comedy-esque movie, but also trying to play into him being in Vietnam, because he like screams for a medic.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
he's back in Nam, and like, okay, that's the kind of movie we're gonna have, and that's not the kind of
Mhm.
movie we're gonna have.
PTSD kind of thing.
That wasn't the kind of movie that we're having.
Right. And the
Later
dust
on.
clears and everybody starts panicking too, because like they're seeing all these dismembered things, and then slowly all these stuntmen start revealing themselves. Like, I know
Yeah.
I still have my arm. I still have my head.
I was like, it's really good makeup, but like the crowd knows it's a movie. Do they think that all of those explosions went off poorly and everyone's just dead? Like, I mean, come on.
I mean,
use our heads
small
a
town
touch.
folks. They might not have known, you know.
Use our
Mhm.
heads a little bit. Come on.
1980 small town somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then Peter O'Toole's character, Eli Roth, not Eli Roth,
Cross.
Cross,
Cross, yeah.
Yeah.
Cross.
shows up with music like a Bond villain in a helicopter, basically. Is how I would describe it. Like, he showed up with like music in the background. He looks like he's mad. Everybody's just kind of like backing off a little bit.
Mhm.
And
And then
then
we get this, yeah. So this is where we get introduced to, the actress Nina.
Yep.
Well, basically, she's in
Yep.
makeups, and she comes up and talks to, gosh, who was it? She
she's
talked to?
an
I can't remember now.
old lady makeup.
Yeah. She
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 talks
talks
to
to
the-
the main actor.
She talks to the main actor, asking for his autograph.
Yeah, I don't think it was a scene. I think she was just like trying to kind of play into like the makeup.
Yeah.
So
So
she
she
was
says that later. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
trying to prove about how good her makeup was, because she was able to walk up on him and ask for an autograph, and he had no idea.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
she wanted to test her makeup, and she just like, it was a weird way to test it too. She's like walking on like the rocks beside the water, and like the helicopter like wind takes her umbrella away with her, and she ends up in the water. And
I didn't
then-
understand this part of this part. For one,
Yeah.
our main character is walking through the whole movie set. Just
Yeah.
nobody's stopping. I mean, I get it's 1980 and they're like on a beach, but like no one
Well,
says
they-
two words to him. No one says
I
anything.
think they had finished the shooting for the day, so I think they were just cleaning up at that point.
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she falls in the water.
And he
What's our main
panics.
character's name? I can't think of what his name is.
Oh,
Cameron. Cameron is the character name for him, and he
Yeah,
switches
Cameron,
to Bert.
They don't say it
Yeah.
that much actually. So
No, because
No,
yeah,
because it's
kinda
he
hard to
switches
remember.
because he switches to Bert. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but so she
So yeah,
falls
he
in the
jumps
water.
in. Yeah, he jumps in to try to save her and grabs her, and then like he is grabbing her and like I think saving her basically, but I
Yeah.
don't understand why she started pulling all the makeup off, because like she could still get saved. Like she was still
Mhm.
like looked like she was struggling in the water. a
Well,
little bit.
it looked like it was fairly shallow, and I think she was just kind of making fun of him for being such a heroism kind of thing.
Maybe it was just a
Because
really weird.
she
scene.
kind of talks to him afterwards, because like she starts peeling. What she does, she starts peeling off the
Yeah.
elastic phase, and he freaks out. He's like, "What the heck?" And he like throws her back in the water and everything too. And she's like, "Yo, you can still rescue me if you want. That's fine. I've always wanted somebody to rescue me."
Yep.
yeah, I guess I should point out it's character's name is Nina, played by Barbara Hershey,
Barbara.
and we kind of get introduced to her. How do I describe it?
Mhm.
Zany,
I was gonna
off the
say-
wall kind of
I was gonna say
personality.
Plucky,
Plucky, yeah, maybe
Kinda.
spunky.
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like all the actors were in the middle of like comedy and also somewhat trying to be serious in this movie. There's a lot of back and forth, I feel like, in this movie that didn't make a lot of like they had not that good of direction of where they were supposed to go with their
It
characters.
seems like people that wanted to do a dramatic movie, but then like halfway through filming it, they're like, "Hey, this is a comedy."
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
That's
I-
kind of
yeah.
how it does feel. Yeah.
well, yeah,
Oh, sorry,
no
a black comedy, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah, I was lost most of the time. We were out there going for drama, for comedy, for mystery. Is
Not a clue. So then a detective shows up, all in a huff, because what we are led to understand is that the guy did die who went over the bridge with the car, whether it was the stunt I'm guessing it was because of the stunt. Where they don't really
No, they don't
say
know
who's
that yet. The
right. They
police
don't really.
think he died.
The police
Yeah.
think he died, which I don't understand how they think he died.
Well, because the car, I think, because the car didn't resurface or something like
Yeah.
that. So they had to like
right, but wouldn't they have like okay, police things? Wouldn't they have had to have like witness statements saying that someone died? All of these things, like the car went over, it never came back up. Nobody else came up, like those kinds of things. Like they can't just run
I'm
into
not thinking
Humble
they're
and
trying
say
to
someone
justify it, to be
died.
honest. Like, yeah,
so
that's
they do
total
kind of
hole.
cover like how they searched the car, and like the only thing in there was the camera, and they couldn't find the body, and so that's why they were searching for him. They assumed he was dead. But then that's where
but
Cameron,
he says something about we have a body. Like the cop thinks there was a body there. I wrote that because I wrote that down because because the director starts lying right away. He's like, "No, Bert's up there," and he points to Cameron.
Well, he
like,
tells the truth he tells somebody that Bert actually died, and I can't remember who.
Yeah,
I think
it's like
the main
his
actor.
it's like his main assistant guy who's always there, like agreeing with everything. We're agreeing with every single thing that he says ever.
And I don't know if he was like he had just done coke on set, he was drunk or whatever, but his eyes were actually bloodshot.
Beat red. Yeah, I thought maybe he was supposed to be like crying. This is where like I said like that line between like comedy versus dramatics. I don't know.
Same.
Like yeah,
but I mean, it just the nature of this film made me kind of doubt like if that was intentional or not.
right?
Yeah. So then you kind of see that like the director Eli is a very manipulative, crazy guy who doesn't think he has to follow any rules. Basically, arrogant, lies to the cop, just like let's go have a drink.
When the cop comes up,
fine.
like the cop's already huffy and puffy, and you can tell the cop's like pissed off. They've been filming at his town for 4 days. Basically making a ruckus,
telling them that they shouldn't have been on the bridge. They didn't have any permits, and he's just kind of like, "No, hey, buddy," puts his arm around him, like, "Let's go get a drink. We're just fine." This is yeah. So yeah, I actually wrote this director's a psychopath.
Yeah, he is.
He kind of could. Yeah,
he was, but he wasn't. But he was.
Yeah, he convinces Cameron to kind of work together because he's like, "You need me, and I need you." So like, we're just gonna make this work for a while, and you're gonna be Bert now.
And then, like, basically, right at that scene with the cop showing up, he's like, "Yeah, Bert's right here. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. Here's Bert, right, Bert? And he never actually says anything. And the director actually is like, he's like, "You never said anything." He's like, "Yeah, I just listened." He's like, "We're gonna get along just fine now."
Yeah, something many actors have spent years never learning.
Yeah. Just that's why I was like, God, this director's just a bad guy. So then he talks about. I think I wrote the director's a psychopath when they walk to a door. And there's like this weird moment where there's light shining through the door at the director, and Cameron's looking up at him almost like he's like a savior, saint, whatever you want to call it. And I can't remember all the words that he says, but it's like very, God complex words that he's saying about everything. And he's like, just step through this door and you'll have a brand new life. And it's like, buckets.
He gives him the Alice in Wonderland speech, basically. We're like, here's your tunnel, Alice. Like, go through. This is your new world. Like, if you go through here, and like, yeah. So it turns into to be just like a dressing room, and they shave him up. They dye his hair.
Yep, dye his hair blonde to match the main actor, so he can be the stunt man.
Yep. And this is where it gets like a little bit goofy with all the segs. So I'm assuming like they kind of has a back and forth with the hairstylist there.
This was very weird. Very weird scene.
He was asking questions about the main actress, and then like, hey, what's she like as a person? And then I think they just shag, basically, don't they?
Yeah, she like does
horny makeup artist.
She does like some flirty stuff, and then she like throws panties at him, and then he like looks at her and laughs and like stands up to hand them to her, and then it was on. I don't know why.
Like pretty much throughout the movie, they were just portraying her as just straight up.
Yeah.
Very weird character choice in this movie. Very odd, I feel like, a character choice in this one.
But I honestly think it's like one of many though, because it's just like that. This is where it's that like zaniness is not even the word, just incoherent mess of a movie. Like, okay, the makeup artist is horny, and then this,
that was
and
nominated
then
for 3 Oscars. At this point,
they know he's dead, but they're just going to have this guy fill in. This movie was nominated for 3?
The movie was nominated for 3 Oscars.
How?
Best actor, which I guess you could give to Peter O'Toole. He plays pretty good, I guess, but very weird. And then, best director and best adaptation of a screenplay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I don't know, man. The Oscars.
I would never have saw it. No.
Probably
different standards in 1980.
I guess. They didn't win, I guess, but they got the Oscar nods. so then we get into this very weird training scene for being a stuntman, where you have like this senior stuntman. I can't remember the actor's name, but he basically like shown on the ropes, and he's like, "Hey, can you jump from here to here? Because that's what you're gonna have to do. You have to jump off of the building." And he like does a little jump, and he's like, "No, you have to tuck and roll." And he like does a tuck and roll, and then like
He's like,
it's
no,
hard.
you just died.
Like I could do that. I could do a tuck and roll right now. Like it's not like it was. It's not like they were doing crazy stunt work.
Well, no, and like I think I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, it was
they
very
were
weird.
very much trying to portray Cameron as somewhat of a yokel.
Yeah, well, they also said that
he was a yokel. He was a he always had a weird smile on his face. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
They had that little scene before that where they're doing like the whole zoom in on the hand scene, and you kind of get your first like in touch that all of the members of this movie are aware that Bert's probably dead. Because like they do the whole like they blow up the finger thing where it says like wording on it, and like there's like a joke on the director, which is Peter O'Toole, and he's just like, yeah, just trying to lighten you up a little bit, given yesterday with Bert and everything. So like,
because then you see Peter O'Toole like a little unhinged too, like where you just lost me half an hour or something like that too, like
right. Yeah.
You kind of see that little starting of him actually being kind of a crazy person, but
which I've seen in a few movies where they talk about like. Directors are given so much length of tape and like you waste a second, you're wasting their money kind of thing. So like you can see the reasoning in it, but also like, yeah, he's definitely a psycho.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get back to the training scenes.
Yeah. So then they end up on the roof, and the safety harness is just a lasso. For some reason, he's like, this is where the rope. Don't worry, I got you. And he like throws a rope around him. And then he's like hanging off the building to, I don't know, maybe see if he's strong enough to hang off the building. I guess I don't really go into like what the trainings were. And then he tells him that any scene that you do or any scene where you fall, you make $600.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch it. I don't remember what it was.
And he like, he overreacted like nobody's business. I mean, kudos to going all in, but this guy's like, what?
He's got no money. He's just back from Vietnam.
$600. I wrote that down too. $600.
And he's like, if you have to do it again, that's another $600.
Yeah, and he was so loud that they were filming another like crazy scene for the movie, and it's like in a almost dungeon, if you will, I guess, and you can hear him screaming over the top in the background outside the building. So then they had to cut that scene in there, and like the director's like, that scene was messed anyway, but like you can hear him screaming $600. Oh my god.
Yeah. And then we get to a dinner scene where it's like the writer, who I really felt bad for in this movie, kind of gets crapped on the whole movie a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, what was his name?
The writer that's always there.
Sam.
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 He seems like one of the nicer people of the movie business. He's kind of friendly. He's always telling the director that the director's ideas are better than his, even though Sam's like the writer trying to write this movie. I don't know.
But he's also he's one of those guys that like you tell he's been in the biz for a bit because he's kind of accustomed to like the arrogant directors and the crazy actors.
Right. And rewriting scenes and everything too.
Yeah, rewriting different big scenes too. It seemed like the detective comes again, shows people pictures of Cameron all shaved up for the army, who is now Bert. Now everyone calls him Bert, just automatically. I don't know that anybody really knew his actual name, so like it was probably pretty easy to call him Bert because no one knew who he actually was. But everybody was kind of looking at it, and then like there's like one lady who like looks at the picture and looks at Cameron and is like, "That's obviously you."
That's the hairstylist.
Yeah.
That was the hairstylist.
She's like, obviously that's you, guy. Like, like honestly, is this detective just like terrible at his job? Doesn't care enough? Like, look at the pictures a little bit.
He seemed like really chummy later on in the movie, so I don't know like to what extent he actually
was he
cared.
was he paid off? I don't know. Sometimes he's like really adamant that they're gonna get Cameron, and then sometimes he's just like the director's best buddy.
Yeah,
other times he's just like hanging around the set.
Yeah, he gets to a point where he's just like, yeah, this stuff is cool, man. Like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out. I'm like, what the heck?
I didn't catch who it was, but did you guys notice that there was always smoke rings? At this dinner scene, constantly floating into the scene. I was like, where are these smoke rings coming from?
As they're talking in the scene, I can't remember because I didn't write down the joke, but they start to get into this like dark humor, And then like you look around, you look at Bert / Cameron, whatever we want to call him, and he's kind of like, you get this impression that he's pretty uncomfortable with this dinner because they're all kind of joking pretty morbidly about things.
He actually tries to leave a couple times.
Yeah, he gets this like real disgusted look at his face, but they honestly like do that a lot later on, but in kind of weird scenes.
A lot of it feels like it's the moments where he notices Nina and he's trying to figure out, because you can tell he's infatuated with her. He's trying to figure out the relationships where she's at, like, because she's hanging around the main actor who he's stunt doubling for a lot, so he figures they're a thing. And then he sees her hanging around the director a lot, so that makes her uncomfortable. But yeah, at this point, he kind of like packs his bag and he's walking out to the street. He sees them all roll up in a vehicle, and again, she's with that main actor, so she's just kind of getting weird, uncomfortable. And then she comes back to talk to him.
Yeah, she comes back to talk to him, and they have this like weird moment where they talk about his jump, and then he's like, let's go up there, and then they go up there, and she starts, like we keep saying, like the switch between like dramatic and comedy, because she starts talking to him like seriously about like, do you just have a death wish? Like, this is very dangerous to do stunts like this.
Well,
and obviously, in the 80s,
act like you're not scared.
It was probably pretty nuts to be jumping off buildings without harnesses and stuff.
Well, and she had like met this guy this very day, and like he was being rather like forceful about trying to get her up there to show her like what the jump would look like.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm actually wondering myself, like, oh my gosh, is something gonna happen here? Like,
well, yeah, and
she
then
started
she's
acting
acting pretty
nuts.
terrified. If anything,
yeah,
she
and
starts
then
screaming.
And then she's like, "Oh, you are scared." And then they do smooch a little bit, but then the director was filming.
Yeah,
this is where I got lost here, because the director says something about their silhouettes or something being in the shot, and is like, what was he filming in the middle of the night?
No, he wasn't filming. Like he just saw him up there, and I think he was just trying to kind of pull a joke on him.
I know, but
and she even
he was
in the spotlights.
He was in the crane thing. It's like this really weird scene where he's in the crane, like bouncing around, and like all my thought was this crane operator's just making this guy go around. Like, he's not even telling the crane operator what to do. The crane operator is just following Cameron around with the director in this seat that's like swinging back and forth.
That's what I was thinking too the entire time. Like, I was looking at the cab of the crane, and it's like this guy just instinctively knows where to put I'm gonna follow this guy around with a crane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then
crazy.
she will, and like apparently this is a common thing, because she makes a comment about it. She's like, I've gotten to the point where I need to start checking my drains to see if you have cameras in there too.
Yeah, I think he was filming, but I don't know. It was a very weird scene where he's like bobbing up and down on that crane machine, whatever it is, and then he like kind of takes him up. And this is where like Cameron always like looks at him like he hates him, and then once the director starts talking to him, he smiles and they're best buddies again. It's very strange dynamic.
Yeah, he definitely.
That's exactly the like kind of back and forth I was talking about, where I just couldn't quite grasp what this movie was going for.
Yeah, well, you kind of get
just like
you can kind of get the vibe on like he's skeptical because why are you doing this for me? And like he doesn't want to trust him. So it feels like the whole time the director is just like trying to prove to him, just like, no, I need you. But then again, he's kind of insane because they keep on, even the rest of the cast keep on asking him, like, why are you keeping this guy around? Clearly he's on the run. He's like, well, now I'm just intrigued with him as the person, because now this person, he's the character for my movie. His story is the story.
He's
like
intrigued because he doesn't know what crime he committed.
Yeah, he doesn't know what
for all we
crime
know
he
at this
committed.
point, this guy could have committed murder.
He doesn't know the darkness that's behind it. Yeah.
The super dark crime that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to your point, he said he's just intrigued by the guy. It's like the only reason he's keeping him around.
Mm-hmm. And then you get the infamous jump scene over the roof, where it's just a lot of pretty farcy. Like
this scene would be nuts. Even nowadays, like he's jumping, they're shooting. Obviously, he's throwing people off the roof. You know, like we're talking the 80s where people aren't set up with harnesses. They're just like taught how to hit and roll.
Well, I think this was one of the scenes I appreciated most about the movie too, because it was like a little bit of kind of like inside the. Inside the workings of like how stuntmans do their thing.
Yeah.
So you kind of get, you get a lot of like kind of long pan shots with like other stunt guys falling out of windows and such.
Yep. And then
I thought it was kind of cool.
Actually. I like how he throws the main stunt guy off the roof. Like he just launches him.
So this part, because it gets into the next part, but this part where he like comes in and smacks him hard. At least you think he smacks him hard with the butt of the gun,
yeah.
And it looks legit real.
Mm-hmm.
Like he broke his face open. And then
Yep.
he like falls down, throws him over. He thinks he actually hurt because he seems like he thinks he actually threw him off the building.
Right. Like he almost doesn't believe like
which
that
is
was
why
part of the movie.
which is why I thought he did actually hit him with the rifle. Because he almost like he got mad and chucked him off the building, and then but he didn't, and the stunt guy lands and he's like easy peasy, and he lights up a cigar and like the poof pad. I don't know.
Yeah, Cameron's sitting there panicking, looking over the edge, and then you just see the stunt director. Was it Bert?
And he's like, "Move, get
he's
on
like,
with it."
"Get going." Yeah.
Chuck. Chuck is the actor.
Chuck's like, "Get going."
He's like,
get
"What
going.
are you looking at me for?"
Yeah, he jumps some more, knocks some more people over, does some more jumping, and then he does the final jump, which is supposed to be him jumping and landing on like a awning that's supposed to catch him.
Yeah.
But he actually falls through, which Cameron doesn't know he's going to fall through because he was told before that it was going to support his weight because it was reinforced. And he falls through, crashes through what you imagine, I would hope, is fake glass.
Yeah, I imagine it's that like kind of
onto
giveaway glass.
two naked people in a bed.
And they don't hide anything.
Yep, everything is shown.
Warning: don't watch this with your children.
Yeah, very not for children for sure. And
Very
then,
much so.
Yep.
Then you get this really weird scene where they're all
he goes
attacking
out into the lobby, and they pretty much crowd surf him through these like half-dressed German soldiers, like stripping his clothes off as they go.
They're all naked, and they're stripping him.
Well, and you realize, like, at this point, it's a brothel. Well, it's supposed to be a brothel they're in, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like wide-eyed, crazy. He has no idea what's going on because he fell through the building he wasn't supposed to fall through. And then you hear the cut at the end, and he's still like crazed, like he's gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah,
that's what I didn't understand. Is like this guy really wanted it. Like Bert really wanted this stunt guy thing, right? Because number one, they'll hide him because he's on the run. But number two, he's making money off of it. But it seemed like after every scene he was shooting, they always had this like kind of panicked, like anxiety-ridden face on him.
And this is where I didn't like it, because Chuck walks up and he's like, "You're okay, whatever," and he reaches and pulls makeup off. I was like, when he hit him in the face, that was not makeup. I don't care what you say. He hit him in that face, that cracked his face open. That was not the makeup.
Maybe it was stuck on the butt of the gun and it like stuck to his face when he did it. I don't know.
Well, and like you kind of blur the line of like moments where you needed a stuntman and where it probably should have been the regular guy. Like the whole like after he fell on the bed, that probably could have just been the regular actor. So I don't know if they're just trying to set realism for him or anything, because like they probably told him like, "Yep, this is where it's going to stop." And then they just kept going with everything. So kind of like maybe like the keep him in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think Chuck kind of explains it too as like earlier when they were like training as like, you're going to be doing literally most of the things, and the only time that you're not is the big moments where he's talking. Everything else is going to be you flying all over the place, basically.
Well, and they're talking about like even the writer Sam, because I remember him talking to the director in this scene, and he's like, everybody just loves your scenes more than mine because, like, Sam's the writer, so he's kind of trying to write the serious dialogue and everything. Whereas Eli, you can tell, is like more interested in the big kind of bombastic action.
Right, because this scene replaced one we didn't talk about because it really wasn't much, was where there was like a madhouse where the main character was supposed to be like being ripped apart in the madhouse.
Oh.
It was like a very short thing, and he was like, "I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't like it." And then the writer was like, "You said you loved it. You said it was the greatest thing ever that night you called me." And then it's basically where you see where like Sam just gets crapped on a lot.
Oh yeah, all the time. Basically having to do rewrites almost every scene, it seems like.
Yeah. And then I wrote this down because he's like, he has that crazy look in his face after he falls through the roof, and the director comes up and he's like, "Good job, that was really great." And he was like, "I could have died." And he's like, "Oh no, you were fine." He was like, "That's $600." And he was like, "You want me to do it again?" It was like, $600 just gets you anything in the world at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, 1980, $600. It's a good chunk of change.
Still though, I mean, like, he just made you fall through a building you didn't know you were going to. Like, he's just like, "I'll do it again." And then they all just laugh, kind of, and that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, and then they go to like a pre-screening of like everything that they had done kind of that day, and he starts trying to talk to Nina again, and she's just upset with him because he talked about his time when he was in Vietnam, and he brings up some terminology that is very not kosher nowadays about the thing. We're not going to say it, but like it's you can't tell if she's just disgusted with it. So then they kind of jump forward. She doesn't want to talk to him, and then turns into
the director kicks her out for talking.
Yeah,
even
right,
though Cameron's the one talking to her, like he's like, Nina, you can leave.
Yep. And is this the one where they talk about changing the airplane scene where instead of like because they dropped the boots? Is that where this one was?
Yeah, they were talking about
Yes.
a boot drop scene that was a scene from another movie, actually, or like a similar scene to another movie. And he's like, it's just boring, Sam. Again, the writer just being like, and then he's like, Bert, what would you do if you just won the war or something like that? And just done it. He's like, and this is where he's just the most awkward person. He's like, I'd do a little jig on the wing.
Yep.
This is like, what is that voice? Number one.
Yeah.
And why are you being so weird?
Yeah. And I think the point where they're doing this, they were watching the dailies, right? I think is where it was. Because they were like, they all gathered at the end of the day and they like watched the dailies. And like, so I think they had actually filmed the scene, but as written, Eli just wasn't good with it. So he's I think we need to do something extra here.
And then
that's when
he
Cameron
actually
Yokel pops in.
He suggests, he's like, well, maybe the jig's too much. How about the Charleston? We'll do the Charleston.
Yeah, and then they start doing the Charleston together.
Yep.
It's just I could not keep up with this movie.
This movie's crazy. And then it cuts to that scene where they're doing it.
Yeah, that's what I forgot. That's why Nina was upset. She was upset because he was being too candid with Eli, and she's like, "You need to remember your place," kind of thing. Because
but then they're like best buddies sometimes. I don't know. It's very.
She's
very
like, "You think you're his equal, but you're not," or something like that.
Yeah, and they really don't come back to that. Where like she's like upset that he's having suggestions and at moments kind of driving this movie, and they didn't really cycle back to that at all ever, which is kind of goofy.
Then they cut to the scene on the plane where he's standing on the plane. He does drop boots, so they kept that in there for whatever reason.
Yep.
And then I didn't understand if this was part of the movie or just the pilot, but the pilot has a big thing of champagne,
right? Yep.
And gives him a glass, which is obviously they're actually flying, so the champagne kind of goes everywhere. He gets a tiny bit in the glass, and the pilot's like, "Give me the bottle back." Because he like hands him the bottle at a point. He's like, "Give me the bottle back," and he just keeps staring there. And he's like standing up. He's like, "Give me the bottle back." Like he's mad about this champagne that he doesn't have while he's piloting a plane with a person on the wing. And he stands up. He steals the bottle, and the pilot like makes it shift, so he like falls back a little bit. Right. So he has to give him the champagne.
Yep.
Oh, it was very.
But
very
did they?
Weird.
And so then it lapses into,
and then he does the Charleston on the wing.
Yeah.
Yes, but then it lapses into you find out because I don't know if they were actually flying or not in that first scene.
In the first,
I think they were, but then they go into like a tailspin, and then he's not.
Yeah, because because they have this like fake the pilot getting shot.
I don't know.
And then the plane starts to twirl. He's hanging off the wing, and then you find out they're just in this like
the lines blur way too much.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word to describe it. Just this kind of get up where the plane's attached. And
it is. Yeah. So like the first scene with the Charleston, he's actually flying because when they port forward to the plane in a tailspin, the plane is actually sitting on like an apparatus where it's like spinning in a circle, where he's like gripping by the wing trying to survive.
I know, but that's like was that fake? Was it just I don't know. It's hard to tell if that was fake or not. And then right after this, there's like a plane crashing scene where I actually almost turned the movie off. I don't know if you guys remember this scene where there's like he's on a plane and the plane's gonna like crash.
Oh yeah,
and it like hits a tree and then it cuts to him in bed with Nina and he we'll say finishes. as a cut as like a jump cut from the plane crashing to that, and I was like, I think I'm done.
Yeah,
so I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm done here. Like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, this movie's very raw. Oh my!
Like
it was a weird jump cut. I was like, I don't know about this anymore.
Garth didn't like the eye contact. Or
I don't know about this. I don't know about this anymore.
This might be a hot take, but like this movie did not have a through line.
No, it didn't. It really did.
No through line in this movie. This is an assembly of scenes. Yeah, they happen to film somewhere with those actors because, nothing is connecting any of this really.
No.
Yeah, and then I did keep writing notes, but I was pretty much done. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then
you checked out.
Yeah, but then you get. I remember now that you get this weird scene where the alarm clock's going off, and he won't shut the alarm clock off.
Yep.
And Nina starts getting mad at him for not shutting the alarm, and I don't understand this scene either. Why won't he just turn the alarm clock off?
Yeah,
he's like, no, it could just run. And she's like, no, just turn it off.
Yeah, and then they kind of get into this like he wants to crawl back into bed kind of thing. He's like, we'll just treat the alarm screaming at us like it's Eli yelling at us.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they're basically just like, we're gonna say screw Eli and stay here.
Yeah, and then you cut to Eli, and he's talking to the writer again about like how he needs to change his scenes again.
That poor writer. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Sam was just beat up the whole movie basically.
Yeah, he takes it like a champ.
And then there is a scene in there where he has Eli has a book about how a vehicle fills up with water.
Yep.
Yes.
And how you would escape it. And he's like, you need to study this because someone's going to test you about it.
Well, because just before that, Chuck actually is showing, what's the real character's name? Cameron, the actual in-vehicle footage of how Bert kind of drowned or died, or however we assume.
God, that was so cold too. They were just like watching
very messed up. Yeah.
They were just watching it like if nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Well, and then Chuck's like, he's looking around. He has a chance, but now he's panicking. Why is he panicking? Everything was set up like he's making it the real Bert's fault that he drowned.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then like when they kind of get into it, it kind of, whether you want to trust what he was saying, Mr. Cross, what Eli was saying or not, he said he feels like he didn't read the book, so he didn't know how to get out of the vehicle.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he does like a nod to there's a big hole in the windshield, a big crack in the windshield. That might have actually been why he was panicking because the water came in too fast. Because of where Cameron hit it in the windshield, because that wasn't supposed to happen. But yeah, it is crazy that they were just watching the film.
Yeah, and so then you kind of jump back to Eli and Nina. They're kind of working on a scene, and they're trying to figure out like what the sentimental moment should be for when the old lady goes to the grave, and he gets this like antique little like lady swinging on a tree and a bear standing there, and it's like a representation of like the man she was with was an animal kind of thing, but it represents intimacy. It's just goofy weird.
Well, because who suggested it? But he's like, flower's not right. Like,
flowers
something like
Sam. Right. Yeah, Sam does. Yeah.
Sam's
like flowers aren't right here.
Yeah. But like this is where you go?
Yeah.
A bronze statue?
At that point, I wrote down, I want to watch the movie that they're making in this movie so I can rip that movie apart. Because it sounds terrible.
Right.
Every part of this movie sounds god awful.
Right. Oh my god.
And like, how could you take that seriously at that point? Like, this is supposed to be a serious World War I drama, and then you get to a scene with that.
It's very, very much all over the place because there's not really like if she's supposed to be, I am assuming, yes, the future of like, oh, this is the widow in the future, but it's so far ahead, but you're assuming he dies pretty soon. But like then they start kind of going into her scene as the old lady leaving this antique sculpture, whatever you want to call it, on an unmarked grave. And then people are just showing up and laughing at her. And then again, back to just like the comedy of like the cop that's yelling at her saying she can't put things on unmarked graves. He trips over something on the set.
Yeah.
And so the scene's
up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And was it this scene where the director like freaks out because somebody else calls cut? Because there's only 32 seconds left on the tape?
It was the cameraman. So the cameraman yells cut.
No, not just yet. That one's a little bit further ahead.
Was it?
Yeah, this one is just, it kind of ends with like her kind of sitting there crying. Or maybe because they talk about this is the one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because someone yells cut and he's like, who called cut? He was the guy in the back's like, I did. We're out of tape. And he's the other cameraman. He's like, asked the other cameraman, he's like, how much length is left? And he's like 30. He says like 33 feet. 33 feet. That's what he says.
Yeah. The one that he's like, no, the one where he cuts is where the tank is chasing him. That's the one where they cut
that's
early.
Like right after that. Yeah. The tank.
Yeah, just after that. Because
buildings,
this, they kind of go through like the weird widowing scene. And then that's where he kind of gives him the book saying, make sure you know how to get out of a car. The cops show up again and Eli does what he said he was going to do. He shows the cop the in-vehicle footage of what Bert saw when he went in the water. Because the cops want to say, oh, hey, he was on the bridge. We want to see your footage. Is the guy we're looking for in your footage? Is he around?
Oh, yeah, and he wasn't somehow.
And they edited it all out. So then Cameron's super confused afterwards. He's like, where was I? He's like, you're in film business, man. Basically, he's like, there's another version of that film where actually Bert's flying a plane and I'm in the car.
Yeah. He's basically like, yeah, they saw what I wanted them to see.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, I guess, flexing his director's power.
Well, and lucky
so to
enough,
speak.
they had one of the linesmen sitting there because they're asking him to verify everything. He doesn't turn around to look at Cameron sitting in there at all to realize, like, oh, maybe this is the guy. So he never turns around. So he gets out of there before that. So he
And he's
escapes
just
out
like,
on
oh,
that.
I was there that day. He ran through the woods and towards the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or recognizing the voice of the guy talking in the room that was just telling him how he also knew Marshall, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so kind of as you mentioned, you get this really just like destroying the whole set scene where he's just running from a tank, crashing through every piece of the set and building that he runs into.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And
the
then
tanks were breaking all the buildings. Yeah,
you get this weird like pigs that are in a bassinet kind of like carriage thing that fall over, and they're wearing.
I imagine
outfits.
they were like stand-ins for babies.
that's what I would. That's what I thought too. Yeah, stand-ins for babies.
That was my assumption.
Yeah, and then this is where you get the cut, and he's freaking out, like, "Who said that kind of thing?" And he's just all like,
yeah, he goes into this like
he goes.
I can only describe it as a
crazy.
tirade.
Yeah,
Like he's like 33 feet. That's 22 seconds, and he shows that's 22 seconds of this. That's 22 seconds of that.
Yeah,
I could kill you in 22 seconds.
Someone like
yeah.
58 bullets I could put in you. I could. Oh.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
goes
20. Yeah, it was
you
like,
finally see the crazy dark side of
And is that the
director,
same guy that Cameron runs into the bar?
Yes,
Just a little
exact
bit
same
step
guy.
forward. Okay.
And I think, in fact, that's the next scene, I believe, right? Or close-ish to the next scene.
Well,
right?
the next scene is kind of you get that weird moment because just before this, when Cameron was getting his hair done, they kind of mentioned that Nina and Eli had a relationship at some point.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of getting ready to go celebrate with her family, and he asks them to go, and he brings up the "you slept with your director" kind of thing, and she kind of like gets all worked up and.
Well, because she makes some joke about it. The hairdresser, I believe it was.
The hairdresser makes a joke.
Like, it takes him 5 minutes to get out of her, or something like that. It's
yep.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he gets the
very
impression he's like,
odd,
oh.
Yeah, so they kind of have like a crashing out. And like weirdly enough, he's laying in the bed, she's sitting there talking to him, and Sam's just in the corner writing on his typewriter.
It was like they were sharing a room, I guess, or something. It was very weird. I don't understand that part either.
Very, very awkward for Sam. He's just getting berated the whole time and all
And
this.
then,
like he gets no respect.
Yeah,
but I do like
Sam
this because Sam gets to be...
explains that all the situation too. Yeah,
like they
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Sam kind of gets to be the old sage here, where he's like, I mean, like, what'd you expect, a virgin? Like,
right. Also, like,
like,
he slept with the hairdresser like a couple days ago. Like, why are you upset? And like,
to be fair, that was pre-Nina.
Oh my! And so Sam straight up tells him, he's like, dude, that was 3 years ago, and they
3
realized
years ago, and it was like twice, and they didn't get along sexually. They were just like,
it just
they liked each other or something like that.
Yeah, Sam is just, I mean, for lack of a better, like, to shorten it up, just wake up, guy. You know, like, you're being unreasonable.
Yeah. So and then you get to a scene where Nina's parents are coming to watch a screening.
Oh my god!
And they're like watching the screening, like, oh man, she looks so good in this, you know. And he's like, okay, set up this scene, and it turns out to be a sex scene that their daughter is in.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, and the director just hides. He just hides, like he's like an awkward, like, I'm not here. I want you, but you guys are still gonna watch this for some reason. Or I'm gonna turn it off.
And of course, as they pan out the camera on the scene, there is the bronze statue of the Lady and the Bear.
Yeah, of the Lady and the Bear. Yeah.
Well,
and her parents are just like awestricken. They're just like,
oh my goodness gracious.
But then they do this, like, okay, I did, and maybe it was just like me and my movie brain, but they did this close up on her parents' hands.
Right.
And they're like holding on really tightly.
Yeah, like gripping tighter, like
But I'm like, I mean, obviously we understand the awkwardness of the scene.
Yeah.
So was that necessary?
Right. And like, they're also going to see the movie at some point in time anyway.
Yes. I mean, it was going to happen.
Yeah. So what do you expect? Yeah. Just before this, though, they did have like that scene where Cameron was at the bar with the cameraman, which I'm assuming he got fired. And he's like paying for his drink, and he talks about the nickel, about how he's going to use this to talk about how Eli killed him, and he's going to call the cops. Cameron panics because he assumes he's talking about calling him and like letting know about the cops, and like he's going to come after him kind of thing. And he's like trying to get him out of the bar the whole time. Yeah. And he panics because this is where he kind of gets a little bit more into like the, oh, Eli's trying to kill me thing, because he shows him like a mark on his neck, like, hey, he choked me out and everything. So then you kind of led to believe like he's feels like he's setting him up in this scene to like, hey, I'm using you for this movie, but at the end I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, because they start talking about he's gonna do the same car scene that the original Burt did.
Right.
Well, and you get some extra context behind the beginning scene too, and that it wasn't intentional. Well, I mean, Burt shouldn't have died because the cameraman is talking about how he and I think Eli were like wrestling for this switch. I should have rewound it, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
he kept
the switch was
he wanted
do.
the camera to keep rolling or something.
Even though,
because
even though he was dying, he wanted to keep filming because
and they like wrestled for the switch, and he's like, the switch dropped, and I couldn't grab it, so that's what happened. Yeah,
and then
he kind of breaks down a little bit in the tears.
Camera kind of panics, and you get a scene where Nina finds him in like a basement where all the props are.
I wanted to jump back to
this scene.
Yeah. Hang on.
Oh my God, this scene.
I wanted to jump back really quick because you mentioned the scene where they show the parents like her having an intimate scene.
Sorry.
And he uses that with Nina because she's sitting there trying to do this other scene, and her parents are watching from the side. She's like, I don't know why my parents are just staring at me. It's uncomfortable. He's like, just so you know, I showed them some scenes yesterday, and I definitely showed them the one where you guys were laying in bed. And he's like, by the way, in this scene, you need to feel shameful. So he uses it as ammunition.
Yeah, he uses it as ammunition. Yeah. He's always playing 3D
he accidentally
chess. Method
put
actor.
That scene
yep.
in the screening to her parents.
Yeah, and then you get to this basement scene, whatever storeroom scene. The scene is nuts.
This was the scene for me where I'm like, should I just turn this movie off? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
this is the weirdest scene I've ever seen in my life, probably, or close to it at least.
Yeah, he starts freaking out because Nina keeps asking him like what he did. What did you do? What did you do? And he talks about how he came back from the war, and he like starts screaming at like the top of his lungs that like his buddy was supposed to be his partner in this ice cream shop, but
his wife cheated on him with him.
He decided not to be his partner while he was being with with Cameron's wife. And then he just starts like throwing stuff as he's like describing how he was tearing apart this ice cream shop, but it was really weird because he was like describing all the food. He's like, and there was this ice cream, and then there was these cookies with giraffes and the stuff.
Like there was 41 flavors of ice cream.
Yeah, and he's just like making an absolute mess of this.
And Nina was like laughing.
Yeah,
because she realizes like he's not on the run for being an awful person. He's on the run because he was broken.
But at the end, so he like knocks over a bunch of paints and they all fall on him, and she starts laughing because she falls on him and she's laughing, and she's like, well, that's not so bad. And he's like, was it bad? Then the cop came in and I just threw a bucket of ice cream on his head.
He saw a light and he just threw a bucket at the light.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a cop, and he's like, well, did he die? He had to go to the hospital? No, the ice cream was so cold. He frostbit his nose.
Yeah, he was like, how was I supposed to know?
He lost his ear and his nose because of frostbite. Because it was like,
which is
what I assume was like a gallon of ice cream.
Which is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
That ice cream would have melted before it gave you frostbite. There's
100%.
Way.
Unless you were in the frozen tundra, there's no way you're getting frostbite from that.
Yeah. And then she's still just like laughing. I actually wrote Nina's an idiot.
Well, I
thought genuinely, like, is her character on drugs most of the time? Is that what
the only thing I thought is like she felt some relief that he's not a murderer, right? Like the whole reason you're on the run is because you hit a dude over that was a
he's an attempted murderer.
But she didn't care before. She was, to be honest, she was being intimate with the dude.
Yeah,
knowing full well he might be a murderer. So I mean, it's a little late at this point to get all high and mighty.
Right.
Fair. But from that, they kind of jump into like, okay, well, we're going to stay together. And they try to figure out like an escape plan. So then they sneak into the garage that night and they try and get in the vehicle. And one of the cops stopped them and you're just like, nope. Eli said nobody's doing.
An actual cop stops them.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I assume he's probably just pulling guard duty for the
I know,
set,
but then he's like, well, it doesn't matter if I open this because the whole road's blocked off by cops. So like Eli has some kind of crazy pull where he's actually blocking these people in so they cannot get out.
Right.
Well,
then she says that. She's like, Eli controls the set. He doesn't control the roads. And the cop's like, but the police do.
Yeah.
So that's like
but wasn't the police blockade for Cameron though?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think the police blockade
was
for the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because for the bridge scene, they're going to launch off the bridge.
Yeah, and they're talking about how he's gonna get in the car and drive it off and pick up Nina, and then she's like, "I'll be in the trunk." And we'll just drive off. We'll drive away.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm not even going to drive off the bridge. I'll just keep going straight,
Yeah.
and it'll be totally fine. And that, like, the cop kind of comes back, or some people start walking in, and she just stays in the trunk and shuts it. So his whole thought process this whole time, because we kind of jump to the next day, Cameron stays around. He decides to do the scene. He says his whole assumption this whole time is
that she's in the trunk.
That
And
trunk.
so was my assumption that she was in the trunk.
Yeah.
Which I was like, we're led to believe that she was staying in the trunk for like 8 hours.
Right.
And noted that the main actor, was in on this because he goes to the trunk. I don't know if you remember this. Yeah, but Cameron goes to the trunk.
If she loves you, she's
and he's
in
like,
there.
If she loves you, she's in there.
If not.
So I don't know where the actor guy got into this whole shit.
I don't either. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So then you get it. He and then it's very weird because he freaks out at one point, right? Because he freaks out and jumps in the car.
Because so the cop is behind him and they're trying to ask him if the camera is on, and he misheard him. So he heard him say Cameron, and that's when he panics because he turns around and looks at the cop and he says Cameron.
I missed that part of it.
Yeah, and he's like, and that's when he panicked. He's like, oh shit, they know who I am. And then he just takes off.
Yeah, takes off, just guns it. And then Eli's
and the stunt coordinator's like, what the hell?
And Eli's like, get the shot, get the shot, get the shot.
Turn the cameras on.
Yeah, because it was their only Duesenberg left. Eli made a point of saying that.
Duesenberg left.
Yeah,
so we only have one chance of this scene.
He gets halfway across the bridge and he looks at the camera in the car and he's flipping at birds to Eli, like, I'm leaving, forget you. And then you kind of cut to what I'm assuming is Chuck's finger, the lead stuntman.
That's what I figured, yep.
Yeah, they purposely pop the tire and launch him into the river, and he starts panicking. He's screaming for Nina. Oh, my God. And he looks out the back window, and Nina's standing on the bridge.
Yeah.
It was really weird, though, because as he drives up the cliff, you get a really loud, screech for Nina, and it was more comical than it was, a sad moment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It was a weird scream that he did for Nina.
I had no idea how they were going to end this movie from a sense of gosh. Are they
not
they're
good?
Just going to kill everybody? Yeah, right. Well, it's are they going to kill everybody off? Is there a romantic ending?
So before we get to the ending,
I legitimately thought Cameron was going to drown in this scene.
Yeah, so did I.
But that was going to be the dark comedy portion, or that Nina was going to die, and that was going to be the dark comedy portion.
Right. So he looks back up through the trunk. He sees Nina and the director looking over at him. He kind of gets himself calm. At first, I thought he was just going to let himself drown. But then he starts not panicking, gets back into the front seat of the vehicle, remembering what Chuck told him, you got to equalize the pressure by rolling down the window to let the all air in. You have a respirator, which I thought wasn't going to be there. Like you said, I thought this was all for him to be, for him. Because
a couple scenes before that, he walks him through it. He's like, it's not there now, but it'll be there on the day.
I for sure thought there was not going to be one there, but it was there. And then he does his, I'm out of here.
Well, they do they cut to showing the installation of the respirator.
Yeah, cool, because he's walking when he wants to check the back end of the vehicle.
Fake or something,
Yeah,
because he does get out. They make him crawl to the shore, which I thought was a very weird choice for the movie. He crawls to the shore, makes it to shore, and then I laughed so hard. Did you guys notice Chuck just eating it as he got to shore on that? On the old school jet ski,
just over the jet ski.
Yeah, he just goes boom, and then it cuts to the scene where he's actually walking and nothing happened. It's why'd you keep that in there?
Right?
Because he absolutely eats it into his face.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I want one of those jet skis. Those things
look cool. I don't think they make them much
fun.
But then you kind of see Nina walk down, and then basically they were all in it together. So the only people left out of it was the audience, because she talks about I'm so glad that you and Eli made up last night, and he told me you decided to do this scene and everything. So I'm like, there's a lot of off-screen conversations.
Yeah, well, she said they found him, and they found her right away, and Eli told him that you decided to do the scene, but he didn't decide to do the scene. So and then Eli comes down on his little boom thing, and he's like, so you don't trust me because you didn't die or something along those lines. He would have been fine if he would have died in the car.
Right.
The first time in the crane boom, I was like, okay, it was kind of a silly little thing, but then it became a motif, and I'm like, I don't know. That is one very subservient crane operator.
Yeah, it floats in all the time.
Yeah, it's super weird. He's has this weird goofy smile on his face the whole time when Nina comes up to him through the mud. She runs,
and he gets this zany laugh too.
Yeah,
And that's just part of like, yeah, the craziness in this movie that I just could not
And then,
grasp is like,
yeah,
because he gets into these scenes where he looks maniacal almost, but then it's just like everything's okay.
yeah, and then like Rena runs off back awkwardly through the mud. Yeah, Eli comes down and says, like you trust me, you didn't die, and he like takes off the towel that Chuck gave him, and then this movie should have ended right then and there. That should be cut, done movie. This movie should have been over. But then you get this really weird where him and Eli are talking, and he's like, "It's okay, I was just waiting for my $1,000." And this part of the movie makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, because then he's
absolutely
like, "Well,
nothing."
Well, then they go
he's
to
like, "No, it's $650." Yeah. He's like, "No, Chuck or whatever told me it was $1,000." No, it's $650.
Like, and then they start arguing about the money. Like Chuck didn't say anything about that. And he his helicopter comes in. Eli's helicopter comes in, and he's like, "Let's cut it to a 750," and he just starts like screaming profanity at him, like you're always trying to cut it the middle ground.
Yeah,
blah, blah. And
he's like, "You better be on that plane."
Yeah.
Well, he starts flying around, and then he kind of like he hears that the one guy's talking to him on the radio, and he's like, "I want my money," and he's like, "How tall is King Kong?" He's like, 3.5 feet. Yeah, which is how tall you're gonna be by the time I'm done with you, kind of thing. And it's just like. And then you get the cop rolled up too just before that, kind of give him like, that was really good, guys. Like, what the heck?
I did like the Kong line though. It was kind of a nice, clever allusion to like, the magic of filmmaking.
Yeah.
I guess.
Like, because it was always this thing he used as like they'll believe anything I say because how tall is Kong?
It's still very they should have ended the movie like 5 minutes before. So
and then they linger on it during the credits.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the whole credits, but
I didn't either.
It lingered long enough for me to be like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah, it leads like oh, we're gonna be in Amsterdam or something like that, and then it just kind of cuts away. So like you don't really get like a final like.
Yeah, it seemed like he was gonna be the stuntman more for like Eli's next movie or the.
This part was probably the only clear one to me is that like Eli actually wanted him to be a stuntman now for his films,
which is just.
And the only way to get him out there was like to lowball him, and tell him to get on the plane to the next film.
Yeah, craziness. I can go first with the ratings. I give it a 1,000 out of 1,507. It was too much back and forth with the dramatics and the comedy. The comedy only was funny because they were terrible at acting the comedy out. So yeah, not a very high rating for this one.
I'll go next. I gave it a 965 out of 1,507. It's again, I just had a hard time following this movie, almost to the point where I thought, was I dozing off during this thing? Like, am I missing important scenes?
Yep.
But no,
felt like that.
It was just all over the place. And like, no offense against Stephen Railsback, but his acting was weird. The writing was weird. Something was off about his scenes, especially, that I just could not, I don't want to say stomach, but just could not get behind.
Yeah, very weird.
It was just such a strange, jilted assembly of scenes for a movie.
Yeah. I was about 953. I was right there with you. This movie had no direction. It was just like throw him in the middle. Like what it would be like if I just threw you in the middle of a set and just like, and then like the weird like romantics of like immediately falls in love with like the lead actress kind of thing. And like you don't really get much for progression of like how many days are covered here. So like you assume, about a couple weeks, right? So just like progressing so fast and so weird. It's just
well, it was 4 days.
Was it just 4 days?
So they referenced earlier in the film that they only have 4 days to shoot in that town. That's all they gave them.
So this lady in 4 days decided like, oh yeah, he's wanted by the FBI. I really like this guy. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
A guy who just comes in out of nowhere.
Yeah. It wasn't like painfully long to watch, kind of like when we did The Deer Hunter, but it was
2 hours.
It was 2 hours.
But it didn't, I wasn't watching a wedding for an hour where I was like, oh my God, what are we doing here?
That's true, but it was still, the acting was very weird.
So yeah.
Yeah.
What's next week?
1980 and the Stuntman.
And next week we jump to 1973. You'll have to see what we have in store from that year, folks.
Yeah, remember to like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think. Tell us if you love the Stuntman and the awkwardness of it. We'll see you in the next one.
See you, everybody.
Adios, folks.